Good morning, welcome to Morning Outlook. This is Kim speaking on Tuesday, 27th of March. Okay, sorry, a bit delayed this morning, but here we go. Euro dollar first, and it does look like it's got the potential from this daily picture to push into that 125 towards the maybe 125.65 area, even with the prior highs there. It may even push on further. I think short term, we've just got a bit of divergence kicking in on the 4 hours, which may stall things a little bit. Now, um, looking at 16, it's a bit of a pig's ear actually, as they say, a technical term. MACD wise, there's a bit of divergence running across these highs as well. It's just run into a bit of an overbought signal. Just before 8 o'clock. It has got the daily pivot below. Let's watch this carefully. It's not particularly massive targets, but there's the potential for it to pull back towards that area. If it does after this divergence, well, to work the divergence off, maybe it will run through a little bit. We'll see. It hasn't yet got up to the R1, so it's a bit bitty, and I wouldn't even be too surprised this morning. There's very little out from a tech fundamental point of view today to really drive this market, and it could end up just in a bit of a chop, more of a chop zone. Let's have a look at cable. So again, it's had a decent shove up yesterday with strength. It looks like again we've got these sort of targets ahead of us on cable, which could be reached. It's not looking quite so overbought. There may be a fraction divergence sort of sitting across the 4 hours. The hourlies are struggling here a little bit as well. Again, daily pivots below. Again, I do wonder the price action we've seen here, whether we'll just end up in some chop here. Now, it may be beneficial to just be waiting for sort of a retracement to play to the upside. There are some trend lines. I'm just looking near-term trend line, which may be broken on cable. Let's just drag that out a little bit further. There we go. It's walking through it as opposed to breaking it, as arguably. But they have got daily pivots pretty close below. We may just see a pullback to that as well. Dollar yen. Let's have a look at dollar yen. Well, surprisingly, or probably not, as the risk is back on and traders are starting to move away from the dollar yen under such circumstances, and it seems to be rallying as well. So at the moment, it's got the potential maybe for more upside. It's now through its weekly pivot. I was looking at that yesterday. I mean, the big picture, which I'd still say it's erring on the bearish side. I didn't see a lot of in the way of divergence or anything yesterday when I was looking at this, but well, it came down, it sort of bottomed again on that 4 hour. We had so many attempts at that 4 hourly lows, but it is well, and it may roll over today. It's got it's got daily pivots below, so it's got some draw potential down there. It's got out of sync with the pound and the euro. It makes it a more difficult trade from that perspective in terms of a decision of where this is going. As I say, it has got the daily pivot below. It may run down there, not quite diverged. It may well diverge into that 60-minute 200, which if it does, it may be a signal for the downside. But as I say, it's not quite so simple on the dollar yen at the moment. Aussie dollar struggling is the term. Underperforming yesterday, never really did too much. In fact, sorry, come back to the dailies there. Yesterday, it did push up there, but not to the same extent. And as I say, it's underperforming where the euro and the pound are both pushing up in towards the old highs here. We're struggling around here. It's certainly one of the weaker ones, and it may be the opportunity here. I'm looking at a sort of trend line along the lows there, thinking, well, if that gets broken, maybe we've got more downside here. It's just only just floating above its weekly pivot at the moment. Maybe it's pull back for that, and to me it looks weak if anything. And if the markets do dip, it gives us the easiest. Canadian dollar, on the other hand, is or has been showing a bit more strength against the US dollar. It's come to the dailies here. It's been selling off here, the US dollar against the Canadian dollar, pulling back towards the daily 34. We could have a bigger correction yet, but just not get ahead of ourselves a little bit. There was a bit of divergence yesterday. Well, perhaps that's worked its way off now. It's just come up to use this as well. Signal line. There is a bit of divergence still sitting there across these lows. It's so close to that 4-hourly 200. I do wonder it'll roll over. Again, it's got the pivot to trade for potentially. Maybe if it can break through that 60-minute 8, it could be up for that. It's got a lot of resistance sitting in the way there, and it may be worth waiting to see what it does there in terms of you looking for further shorts. It's benefited from the previous oil price increase, which has slowed up somewhat at the moment. It's actually put in a just looking there, double top properly yesterday, so perhaps oil may retreat a little bit and push the Canadian, the dollar CAD may push up from that perspective. So just need to watch the combination there. Okay, that's it for me. Have a great day. Bye for now.